What's up, everybody? Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of After Credits.
How y'all doing? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I missed you, Ansel.
I missed Christopher Plummer. Look at him; he's so adorable.
Isn't he?
Yeah. He needs like his own Uncle Drew. Like,
I was thinking Gran Torino, but Uncle Drew works too. We just put Christopher Plummer there and then surround him with like 20-somethings, like Tom Holland in old man makeup.
Yeah, no, it should be like, he should be like a teen comedy when it's like Christopher Plummer, it's like Back to School.
Either that or like a Freaky Friday kind of thing.
Oh, and it's him and, what if it was like him and
Tom Holland, I'm down with
or
that.
him and like Michael Shannon.
Well, no, because Freaky Friday would be... I think it'd be funnier if it were like a high school comedy, so you could get...
No, but it's a high school comedy and Michael Shannon is playing like an 18-year-old.
Jesus Christ! We got out of The Hate You Give. It's the new drama about a girl who feels like she's in two worlds. She lives in a more urban environment, goes to school in the preppy environment, and then she witnesses one of her childhood friends get murdered by a policeman, and that ripples throughout these communities and ends up tossing her in the middle of it.
So what did you think about this movie?
This was super long.
Okay, my two thoughts coming out of this movie. One, I agree, it was very, very long. The other thing is, this movie ranges from being really, really great to being, like, unwatchable.
I wouldn't say unwatchable, but I kind of get what you mean.
Like, there's like 75% of this movie that I thought was legitimately, like, fantastic. And then there's just a ton of really stupid shit in here. And that's all, like, the YA shit. Like, I think this is a good story, it's a good script, but it's clearly aimed at a YA audience. And I understand the value in that, because, like, not every movie about racism has to be, like, Black Klansman or Detroit, where you leave the theater, like, crying. Everything with the white people in this movie was, like, with, like, the friends and stuff, and, like, the boyfriend, that shit was awful. But the stuff with, like, the family and, like, the community, that was great.
I could see a director doing that in order to get you on the side of the black family, but at the same time, it kind of made all the white characters, except for the boyfriend, seem
Colin Jost.
Is that the kid's name?
No,
he
looks like the guy from SNL, the Weekend Update guy. that took me out of the whole movie.
No, you know that one poster where it's like all white guys look the same and it has like Matt Bomer and a bunch of other guys in there? I swear to you, I thought he was one of those dudes. Yeah. He might be, I don't know. A lot of the just obvious directorial choices.
Yeah.
The palette in this, I saw in the trailer, it just annoyed me. To where you'd have this sort of warm sepia tone, kind of reminded me of what's the one Obama movie?
South Side with You.
Yeah, South Side with You. Kind of have that warm texture, warmth, and then you go to the prep school, and it's just this dingy gray and blue.
I almost like turned to you when the movie started, when they do the first shot of the prep school, and I swear I thought like the white balance was off. Because it was like it was like just blue.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Baby Driver video where you took the camera for the first time and everything's just pure blue. Looking at the trailer, I had no interest. But then I heard all the reviews come in, and people were talking like Oscar stuff, and they're mentioning the main girl in the movie, Amanda Steinberg, and Russell Hornsby, the dad.
Yeah,
I think those two are the best performances in the movie.
I don't like shitting on like specific people all the time. At the same time, like, why was Anthony Mackie in this movie?
Because Anthony Mackie has a really stern face.
I know, but he's just like...
He's just there. You're right. The character and the performance isn't great, but I think the casting necessarily isn't bad.
I don't know, it's just
like... Anthony Mackie, he can be an intimidating dude.
No, he's a good actor and shit like 999 or Hurt Locker or something.
Yeah,
but
you gotta give him something.
It's just like, he's just in... I felt like the storyline with his character started off like, oh, this is good, and then it just went completely off the rails by the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, because the movie had gone for so long with, like, nothing really happening in a story that I think was supposed to build tension throughout, and then they kind of just have him be the explosive climax.
Like Common's another actor that like just shows up in random stuff, but I actually like Common.
I like Common too.
I actually thought he was pretty good in this. This is one.
He's okay in this.
I
think the stuff they gave him to say, especially there's a scene with him in the kitchen with the main girl that I thought was kind of like way too on the nose. I would have directed certain scenes completely differently. I'm a guy that likes that sort of just show it. A lot of the monologue in this really didn't work.
Like, I get that this is supposed to be like
narration.
a YA movie, but like you can't start this off like it's like Ferris Bueller.
A lot of this really felt like somebody read the novel, took chunks of the novel, and just made that the screenplay, instead of taking inspiration from certain lines of dialogue or certain situations and crafting something of their own.
There wasn't like a real climax. Like the climax is okay. Is the climax going to be the court decision that we don't see on screen, or is the climax going to be her testifying? Is the climax going to be like there wasn't a real like this is the moment we're building to?
It felt like there was a lot in this movie, and that's kind of why I'm saying it felt like a YA novel, because they grabbed all the subplots that would be in a book and tossed them all in a movie, and then just kind of slowed it down.
This might have worked better as like a miniseries. Like a 6 or 8 part Netflix miniseries or something?
I could see this kind of working in a way where each episode would be from the point of view of somebody else.
Yeah.
Like you see the situation through through her, and then the dad, and then Anthony Mackie's character, maybe the boyfriend.
Yeah, well, because it's
and then
like,
you come back at the end to her.
Because I think that it's like there are scenes that are good scenes, but they just feel out of place within like this sort of narrative, like the whole prom scene. That felt like just extra. I mean, all the stuff in there was good. The stuff with like when the boyfriend comes back to the home and talks to the dad, like that was great. When you cut between that and you cut between Anthony Mackie as like this villain, like that, it feels very out of place. All of the shots of Anthony Mackie, they framed him like Michael Myers. The whole shooting scene I thought was like really scary and well done.
I wish they would.
There was some dumb
setup,
but
there's a part of me that's like, I wish I hadn't seen this in the trailer. Although, because I saw it in the trailer, I did feel kind of like that tenseness, because I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Why is it that every teen movie now has to have a character that's like, man, 20 years ago the culture was like this, and it was real?
Can we go like one goddamn movie without you referencing Harry Potter?
Well, no, it was Harry Potter, and then when you go in what her name's Star, her room, she's got like a Fresh Prince poster. She's like, I'm watching my Fresh Prince reruns. I could understand the Tupac thing, because Tupac is that kind of legendary, but like Fresh Prince over... No, I feel like this girl would have watched something like Insecure, or Queen Sugar, or
it's just like
shit, like Handmaid's Tale, something.
We just don't need any more Harry Potter.
I genuinely have no idea if we're going to review that or not.
We saw some truly terrible trailers.
Dude.
The Alita trailer is like the worst thing I've ever seen.
I almost want to see it in a like a Dark Tower way, because Mahershala Ali as Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix is awesome.
That was bad, but then I watched whatever the
new Tyler Perry movie was.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw whatever the one with Gina Rodriguez was, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to see movies anymore.
I almost sat there and I went, I apologize for defending Gina Rodriguez and Hate Annihilation just because of that trailer.
Quick spoiler, if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, scroll this time card. I feel like the sequence with the protest, and then the sequence with like the dad's shop getting set on fire, like that could have been simplified, because it just feels like, okay, we're just going to another location, and then the house is on fire, and then Anthony Mackie shows up, and then the kid has a gun, and then the cops show up. It's just like...
It was a lot.
There was a lot
happening at the same time. What we mentioned before about the movie not knowing what is the climax kind of comes into play here, because is the climax her jumping on top of the cop car and leading... Because
that felt like the emotional climax for the character. It seemed like the build-up was going to be whether or not she was going to like want to testify and go on TV, but then that's like earlier in the movie, so...
Right, and then you have the build-up of, oh, is she going to speak out and own her blackness and speak for her community with the unique situation that she has, and then she does that, But then at the end of the movie, it's about this drug plot, and we hadn't seen Anthony Mackie for like 20 minutes, so it like rolls back around.
You could have cut the whole.
No, he
Mackie
legit
picture.
stands there like Michael Myers stalking his prey. And all throughout this entire protest sequence, I was thinking, where are the parents? Because it's not like they're distant in this movie. I just genuinely had no idea where they would be. And I feel like, especially the dad, would be way more involved in looking for his daughter.
I was kind of unclear on where the location was.
Right.
But it's like when they leave the school with like the brother and the boyfriend.
This was on.
They're like,
was this on prom?
No, this was after. This was like because they're in the car and then they see the protesters and it's like daylight, and then they go to like the streets and it's already night. So I'm like, how much time has passed?
The scene with her and Common, I could actually balance where Common was going, and then the movie led him to go all the way left, rather than kind of keep that like delicate balance to where you know she's right.
Yeah,
but you still understand slightly where he's coming from.
I think that's a good summation of this movie overall. Is there's a lot of situations where it's like they handle it very subtly, and then it's like there's just some sort that's like the whole part in the prom car with the boyfriend. He's like, I don't see color. I'm like,
that's just so much.
It's
and you're
like,
sitting there like, God damn, like, do people?
I see you for who you are. Yeah, and then the same thing with like the eyebrows.
With Jesus, Groucho Marx there.
That whole character was just terrible. Clearly you need like the racist white girl in the movie somehow, but it could have been like a little less obvious.
That fried chicken line was so confusing to me.
I was like, are they actually trying to play it like she's referencing? It's like
lunch, and it was weird because I could see where you would. Because it's not like this movie doesn't have like insert shots, but it has insert shots for like half a frame, and then pops back out. So if you caught it, you can go, okay, they did show the fried chicken at one point, but it was so just like, bam, here you go. Or
that was a confusing scene.
Sometimes it works, like when during the shooting scene you see the insert shot of the policeman's badge, and then later in the movie she brings it back. That works to me. But when you talk about like the fried chicken line, I was just like, what? In what way could that possibly not construed as being totally racist?
Yeah, but they were trying to play it off
you could see they were trying to play it off as ambiguous, so you could have the character kind of go from this part of the arc to this part of the arc.
So now we're talking our scores out of 6 stars and overall thoughts.
Brittany came with us and she's got a headache, so she didn't want to do the review. Brittany said this made her cry, so she gave it a 5.5. A 6.
Okay.
That was the most she gave. As for me, it's really tough to recommend going to a theater because it's so long. But we did have people in there that went for the theatrical experience and really dug it. And if the execution from the trailer looks like it'll sell you, then I would probably recommend it. The acting is strong. And some of the directorial choices were inspired. I really just think it's editing and dialogue. That's my problem. So 3.5.
It is very long. There's a lot of extraneous things, and there were some odd structural choices. But I didn't feel like, for the most part, I didn't feel like any of the filmmaking was bad. Like, each individual scene works.
I think part of why I would recommend this one, too, is for the specifics of the experience. The opening scene of this movie I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, no, the opening scene was great.
Where the father having to give them the talk.
Yeah.
I love the way she described that, because most people understand the talk as sex, but for the black experience, the talk is how to behave yourself if you're in a traffic stop with a police officer. And that, to me, like, hit home.
Yeah.
That was really powerful.
It's really realistic. Because, like,
exactly.
people talk about having to, having to have that conversation. So
exactly.
So that worked, and then
if you would have gotten performances that didn't sell, like those kids at that moment, they didn't seem like they were acting. They really felt like they were gaining some knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah. There's some like powerful moments sprinkled throughout. You just have to wade through some of the cliches and stuff. And it doesn't quite stick the landing, but overall I would recommend it. So I'll go 4 out of 6.
Alright.
I guess I liked it a little bit more than you. 4 1/3.
Yeah, 4 1/3.
I don't think this will be an Oscar sort of contender. I think Russell Crowe might be.
If anything, I would go with adapted screenplay because the screenwriter Audrey Wells died, and they might pull a posthumous. Oh, is it posthumous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Post whatever.
A post bean dip award.
Yeah, like a SAG ensemble sort of thing. Like
I could see that
because it's
You're
like,
right.
There's a lot of good actors that have
Exactly.
like not a lot of
That'll work.
scenes, but as an ensemble, it's very strong.
Yeah, thank you very much for sticking around with this. If you like our shit, like the video, subscribe if you want more videos, and then comment. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. What's your blog, Lee?
LiamMcGawkian.wordpress.com. I've done a lot of reviews
He
lately.
does. A lot of the awards talk, if you're interested in a lot of the Oscar buzz that's going on, go check out his stuff.
Yeah.
He's seen a bunch of early screenings.
I've seen a lot, yeah. I've met celebrities.
I'm gonna try to get people to watch Halloween tomorrow. That one's gonna be interesting. I've heard some mixed stuff. But is Bohemian Rhapsody and Suspiria coming out the same week?
Yeah, and then that's the first week in November, so it's Bohemian Rhapsody, Suspiria, and then Can You Ever Forgive Me goes wide.
Oh, that's true.
Or not wide, but
wider.
Angelica.
Yeah. And then the Nutcracker.
Fuck you.
I can't even joke. Bye, guys. Take care.
The fucking Nutcracker.